100. 100 of the greatest sci-fi movies podcast. That's what we're doing here in this series, man. We're talking about my list of the greatest science fiction movies, man, from 100 to 1. A new podcast every day for the first 100 days of 2022. Hopefully, something worthwhile has happened in this year so far, but likely not. Yesterday, we talked about our number 95 movie, Star Trek Into Darkness, man. Like I said, a very fun movie, but not a very great sci-fi movie. That's why it's so low down on the list. So go back and listen to that episode if you haven't had a chance yet. Today, we're talking about number 94 on this list, Gattaca. Boom. 1997, directed by Andrew Niccol. Man, starring your boy Ethan Hawke out there, Uma Thurman, Jude Law, Alan Arkin, and this as well, Gore Vidal, Tony Shalhoub, Ernest Borgnine, Blair Underwood. What the? They got all sorts. Maya Rudolph is in there. I think a member of the state, Ken Marino, is also in this movie. Shout out to the state, one of the best comedy troupes of all time. And let's talk about this Gattaca, guys. There is no gene for the human spirit. If that isn't one of the sappiest taglines I've ever heard. In a future society, in an era of indefinite eugenics, humans are set on a life course depending on their DNA. Young Vincent Freeman is born with a condition that would prevent him from space travel, yet is determined to infiltrate the Gattaca space program. Listen, man, if you don't know about Gattaca, you need to get real proper real quick. Don't be like me and come to it all late in life. I came to Gattaca way too late in life. Or maybe just the right time of life to finally fully grasp everything that's going on in this movie. I think this entire film is about looking at what's expected of you and saying, fuck that. I'm going to do what I know is right for me. And in a way, it's about overcoming obstacles, maybe not the most ethical ways, of achieving your goals. I think Gattaca is an extremely intelligent movie that looks at the ethical nature of science. Like, there's dozens of different subgenres of sci-fi out there, but one of the ones we've seen less and less of in the mainstream is the one that takes a long, hard look at where we've come as far as science and asks what we've done is make marvels, but are we using those marvels correctly and responsibly? And that answer isn't always yes. Matter of fact, that answer is probably hardly yes. And this also, yet another look at class warfare, like we talked about back in the Alita episode with the valids who qualify for professional employment versus the invalids or the invalids who are relegated to the menial and physical jobs. This is all determined through eugenics, right? Which can be a bit of a slippery slope, I think, in storytelling. But they managed to weave it in through this cat and mouse tale of the Gattaca Space or Aerospace Corporation, finding out that there is an invalid amongst them, and Ethan Hawke's Vincent having to try to evade detection while trying to get on this space flight. Gattaca is dope, man. Is rarely brought up when people are talking about dope sci-fi joints, but it does have a bit of its own following that I just wish was a bit larger. I think the acting is great. I think just the chemistry between Ethan Hawke, Jude Law, between Ethan Hawke and with Thurman, it's all right there, man. There's elements of greatness in this movie. I'm not sure why it didn't break out. I think partly because we as a collective, I've always been a little bit wary of all things eugenics and tampering with the DNA, the basic building blocks of our life. So there might have been a little bit of apprehension in that aspect. But if you've ever been hesitant for watching Gattaca, you are doing yourself a major disservice, I think. It is definitely a great movie just to sit down. I think you really got to lock in for this movie. 106 minutes runtime. So, an hour and 46 minutes, you can do that. This is a phones down movie. I'm stamping this an official certified seed phones down movie. You really got to lock in so you can just appreciate all the different levels at play that's going on in Gattaca. So if you haven't watched it in a while or you've never seen it before, then you are due. Start your 2022 off right. Watch number 94 on the list, Gattaca. That's it for this one, man. We'll be back in 24 hours to talk about yet another sci-fi movie. We'll be moving on to our number 93 pick. We'll see what it is. Until then, you all take it easy and have a good one.